Hi, my name is Chris, and this is the review of the 2016 Hyundai Sonata plug-in hybrid. I hope you'll find this review useful and interesting, and it serves as a complement to the Hyundai non-plug-in hybrid Sonata that I reviewed last week. Exterior lines are standard fare. I call these baby boomer lines, and it looks very good. I would call this plug-in hybrid pleasingly inconspicuous. Of course, with the big battery to give you 43 kilometers of range, you get that green license plate in Quebec. And as I was saying, you get a big battery in the trunk. It takes up a lot of room. You can take a look at it now. You do have quite a bit of room, except there is no pass-through. Despite Hyundai saying they worked on the suspension, it still feels like a sofa. A little bit too soft and not really high quality. The interior door treatment is pretty good. There are rear heated seats and power down windows. There is plenty of room in back. It really fulfills its mid-size sedan function very well. There's no room sacrificed here. The packaging is excellent. Another thing, the leather quality is very good, and you do get perforated leather. Rear passengers get ventilation and the all-important mobile charging. You even get little backrest pockets. Overall, this interior feels like a $35,000 to $40,000 interior, not the $45,000 they charge for this vehicle. There is an Infinity sound system that comes with this vehicle. It's very good. It's basically an all-dress Sonata. In front, plenty of room, very intuitive center console and infotainment, soft seats, comfortable seats. This has always been a little bit of a Hyundai weakness. They were soft, but they were not comfortable. They'd get uncomfortable after half an hour. These seats are really soft, really comfortable. I tried them on the Sonata Hybrid last week. They were wonderful. The back headrest is nice and soft also. The looks simple and straightforward enough, but you do have very good quality of the buttons, the knobs, the horizontal surfaces are all soft touch, and these commands feel like they're from a $35,000 car. The steering wheel is excellent, the leather is very soft, and the grips are great at the 10 and 2. I left the volume on for this section because the engine is now on. It's in EV mode and you don't hear anything. This engine is the same as in the hybrid. Combined, it makes 202 horsepower with the electric engine, though it felt awfully slow compared to the hybrid. I don't know why. There's the unit that comes with the car. It plugs into the wall. It takes about 5 hours to charge, full charge. And another thing is, it was cold that day. We were in EV mode. The motor turned on because I guess the internal heating is done by heated coolant. So that was interesting. Hello, car lovers. Driving the 2016 Hyundai Sonata plug-in hybrid, and I'm on the highway now doing about 110, and the road noise is acceptable. There's wind noise out, but it's an extremely windy day. So Hyundai, if I remember the hybrid that I drove last week, the 2015 Sport that I drove a year ago, it's about middle of the pack in terms of road noise. Could be better on the highway. The suspension on this car is set up incredibly soft, like super soft. These are usually urban vehicles. That's where the regenerative braking is most efficient. However, I'm driving out here on the highway now, and this version at least feels like a boat. I don't know if they more softly sprung this one than the other ones, but it like as I get wind, you feel the suspension yawing. It's maybe a bit too soft. However, you do get 40 kilometers of green energy. Now, we have to talk about that because it is part of the decision-making process of somebody who buys a car like this. It's always been, ever since the Insight came out and the Prius came out, we've always been looking for that alternate propulsion system that would get us off gas. And it's always been, they're going to perfect it in 5 to 10 years. And then 5 years later, they're going to perfect it in 5 to 10 years. So here we are, like 25 years later, and we're nowhere close to getting it perfected. In fact, if you are a rational person in terms of costs, you would never buy this vehicle. It costs way too much. They try to pack them with options, but still at the end of the day, the economics just doesn't make sense. However, buying cars is not always a rational process. If it was, we'd all be driving Corollas. The people I speak to who buy these kinds of vehicles, they say it over and over again. There's always a few reasons why they buy these vehicles. One is when you're buying, you're voting. Is that you're telling the market you want this kind of vehicle and you want advances to be made in this kind of alternate propulsion system. And there have been advances. Now there's lithium batteries. These systems are much more transparent when going from battery powered to gas powered. They're now using the battery motor, or the electric motor, I should rather say, as a turbo-like feature to the gas engine. This was not always the case. And they're putting them in more and more normal-looking cars. I mean, if I hide the blue sign on the side of the car, this is a Hyundai Sonata. It's not conspicuous. And, of course, there's something to be said about in the province of Quebec, which is, for American viewers, it's a Canadian state north of New York, Vermont, and Maine. We get all our power from hydro, from water. And hydro is really solar power, right? Because the sun evaporates the water, turns into a cloud, and rains at a higher plane, flows down. As it's flowing down, we capture that energy. So it is really ultra green. I mean, it's literally zero emissions. Of course, there's the reservoir that creates greenhouse gases when they're filling that up and they're killing all the trees in that area. But I mean, in general, it's a very low pollution, highly renewable source of energy. So you have the satisfaction, like I'm doing right now, of using only solar power. And for some people, that's very important. It's certainly important for many governments, that's for sure. So, what to say about this vehicle? The good thing is that they're becoming more and more, they drive more and more like regular cars. It's a seamless operation that strikes me. I'm sitting in this Hyundai and I have great visibility all around. I don't have that panoramic roof like I had in those other models. I have limited trunk space, but there's still quite a usable trunk. You can't pass through anymore through the back seats. And with Hyundai's reassuring warranties, at least for the first years of ownership, it's essentially a cost-free ownership. There's a check engine light, and the car has 10,443 kilometers. This is the disadvantage of having two propulsion systems. I'm not going to comment about that. This is under warranty, but still. I've been driving now for 10 kilometers. My electric range tells me that I have 24 kilometers left. So not quite as efficient on the highway than it is in the city. The city is really where the regenerative braking system shines. Apart from that, I'm very satisfied with my driving experience. You do feel a satisfaction, especially in city driving, where you hear absolutely nothing. You hear no road noise, barely. You hear no wind noise because you're driving under 50 kilometers an hour, and you just hear air. That's all you hear. You know that your car is not using any fuel. So, I don't know what else to say about this vehicle, because it's not that different from regular vehicles.